Hey, it's Lizzie.
And Tyler.
And today we're talking about Feud.
Betty and Joan.
It's going to be a review of the first two episodes of the show.
Yes, because that's all that's aired so far.
So what's happened so far?
Not a lot. So the show is about Joan Crawford and Betty Davis, set back in the 1960s, back when they were filming the movie Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. And it's about like the apparently famous feud that they had in like old Hollywood and stuff. They're played by Jessica Lange and Susan Sarandon, who are very talented. The first two episodes have been about the start of the movie process. So the first episode was about getting the movie made, like as in getting a studio to finance it. Then the second one was the early shenanigans of Betty and Joan on the set and their rivalry.
I do take a little bit of issue to the fact that neither of them super look like the actresses. Particularly Jessica Lange, she looks much older than Joan Crawford did at that time, which is a little annoying. But the performances are really good.
It's very campy, but in a good way. It's very Ryan Murphy. My favorite part of the show, definitely, is just watching them act. I would say that's the biggest drive for watching it, is it's just very cool to see these Hollywood legends go at each other.
Yeah, it's a little
screen.
Meta, too,
yeah,
because Susan Sarandon and Jessica Lange are two really big actresses.
Right, but I don't think they have a feud. If so,
next season,
that'll be next season of Feud. Well, actually, season 800.
Yeah.
Because I think they already have the next 50 planned, but whatever.
There's also so many famous people in this show, like Stanley Tucci, Alfred Molina is that guy's name.
Is that him? Yeah, I know he's famous.
Kathy Bates, Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yep.
And then apparently Sarah Paulson's gonna show up because of course she is.
Right. That girl from Mad Men.
Oh yeah, Kiernan Shipka.
I
think the second reason I would say to watch the show is just how beautiful it looks.
Mm-hmm.
It's shot really beautifully.
It feels very old Hollywood. Also, just Ryan Murphy's shows just all have this very artistic touch to them that are, it's it is TV, but it's very unique in the way he's doing it.
Okay, so plot so far has been pretty light.
I mean, it just is what the show is. It's just very passive aggressive and then occasionally aggressive women going at each other as they fight for their careers. We've seen now the first two episodes and I'm enjoying it, but also it's I feel it's really long. I feel I could have watched episode 2 without seeing episode 1 and still felt the same amount of enjoyment that I got seeing them in order.
It feels like he didn't make this to be super commercially successful.
Right.
It sort of feels just an ode to gay men and women who loved Joan and Betty. And I really like that. I appreciate that Ryan Murphy would do that. And I think he's the perfect one to do this show. One question I do have about this show though is why they're doing the sort of framing device with Kathy Bates and Catherine Zeta-Jones' characters. I think it's a documentary or just interviews of them, but they're using that as sort of the lens through which the Joan and Betty story is being told, and I don't really understand why.
It feels like an excuse to have Kathy Bates.
I literally was just gonna say that. It feels like an excuse.
I don't think it's that necessary to have, and also it's just occasional.
Yeah, they pop up for
right.
2 minutes and they're they like smoking and they're Joan did this.
Right. It's so unnecessary. If you're watching the show, you know what you're watching, so you don't need commentary. I don't know. And I think Jessica Lange and Susan Sarandon are selling it enough that then I don't need a narration of and so Betty was mad at Joan. I can see that. I have a question for you. Do you so I know nothing. I've never seen Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. That is what it's called, right?
Yes.
Not What Happened? Okay. I don't know much about, their either Betty or Joan. I keep pausing for a second as I have to remember their names. I don't know a lot, whereas you do know quite a bit about their feud and have, watched these movies, and you were at least once interested about all of this. So do you think we're getting different enjoyment levels out of it, or, having different experiences, or no?
I mean, I think so, for sure, because, yeah, I mean, I already knew, Joan's connection with Pepsi is in there, and, the things they, said about each other in newspapers and stuff, I knew about that already. So it's, kind of cool to see it all come to life. I think for you, it's, new. For me, it's just a really cool thing. Yeah.
I guess seeing it unfold, it is cool for me, too.
So, we're having the same experience.
Yeah, we're having the same experience. You probably just have more fondness for it.
It is really cool. So they'll occasionally do black and white flashbacks to old movies that Joan and Betty were in, but it's Susan and Jessica obviously acting in them, and that's pretty cool. It must be great for the actresses to be able to do that too. It's cool to see who they cast as old Hollywood characters. They had an actress playing Marilyn Monroe. Do you know who Sarah Paulson is playing?
No. I know what episode she'll be in.
Okay.
And I know like what the theme of that episode is, but I don't know who she is.
I'm sure she's gonna turn up as like someone pretty cool.
I think so, because it was like a name. Like what I've read wasn't like a character name. It was like, I think she was supposed to be like a famous person.
Okay.
But I didn't know who it was because I don't know a lot.
Cool.
Just in general, it's cool to see a show that allows the story and the actors and like the main focus to be on like two older women or of an older age than what you normally see in Hollywood, and like not just as like a grandma character, but like very flawed people and also very sexualized, and like I don't know, I think that in itself is like original.
Yeah, and I really like his treatment of the characters. Like, he's obviously a huge fan of Joan and Betty, and he's very respectful of them. They're never made into jokes. Like, everything they go through and everything they do to each other seems justified because of what's happening to them. So I like that. It's a very respectful show, but it's also fun.
Yeah, it's very fun.
So we're going to start doing, like, ratings for shows, I guess. So, like, a tangible number for whether we recommend it or not. This show, I would give, it's hard because not much happens, like we said, but it's still somehow compelling.
I think that it's hard to rate because like I wouldn't really recommend it to anyone. Like because like if you're gonna like it, then you will like it.
Then you'll seek it out.
Right. Or like I would, if I'm gonna recommend it, it's because I know you specifically would like this show. The general public is not gonna like it. If you really broke it down and if you don't care about it at all and you're not that interested by like just watching fun people act, then like it's very boring.
Yes.
But I think they're making the show they meant to make, and what that show is, I think, is very good. So I would give it like an 8 or 9. I'll say an 8.5 vodkas, glasses of vodka, on the rocks.
For me, yeah, I would say an 8.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. I like it more.
I went lower, yeah. Cool.
That's all. Thank you. And I hope you're enjoying Feud, Betty and Joan. Or not.
Like and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Woo. I said woo. I'm not good at describing things. Wow, why do I have a review channel?